Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Jennie and Johnny's English podcast. I'm Jennie.
And I'm Johnny. How are you doing today, Jenny?
I'm doing great, thanks. And I'm really excited about today's topic because it's something everyone struggles with.
Absolutely. Today we're talking about how to answer one of the most common questions in English. Tell me about yourself.
This question seems simple, but it's actually quite tricky. People hear it all the time, in job interviews, at networking events, when meeting new people, even on dates.
That's true. And you know what? Even native English speakers sometimes don't know how to answer it well.
Exactly. So if you find this question difficult, you're not alone. But by the end of this episode, you'll have a clear strategy for answering it confidently.
We'll give you a simple structure to follow, lots of examples, and some important tips about what not to say. Let's get started. So Jenny, why do you think "tell me about yourself" is such a difficult question? Well, first of all, it's very open-ended. The person isn't asking you something specific like "where are you from?" or "what do you do?" They're asking you to choose what to talk about.
Right. There are no guidelines. You could talk about anything. Your childhood, your hobbies, your job, your family, your dreams. Where do you even start?
Exactly. And second, it depends so much on the context. How you answer in a job interview should be very different from how you answer at a party.
That's a crucial point. The same question needs different answers in different situations.
And third, there's the problem of how much to say. Do you give a 30-second answer? 2 minutes? 5 minutes?
Nobody wants to hear your whole life story, but they also don't want just a one-sentence answer.
True. Finding the right balance is challenging.
And here's another problem. Many people don't know what information is interesting or relevant to share.
Right. You might think your information is boring, but actually it could be very interesting to the listener.
Or the opposite. You might share something you think is interesting, but it's not relevant to the situation.
So we need to learn how to choose the right information for each situation.
Before we learn how to answer this question, we need to talk about context. Johnny, can you explain why context matters so much?
Sure. When someone asks, "tell me about yourself," they're not really asking about your entire life. They want specific information that's relevant to the situation. Can you give us some examples of different contexts?
Of course. Let's say you're in a job interview. When the interviewer asks, "Tell me about yourself," they want to know about your professional background, your skills, and why you're a good fit for the job.
They don't want to hear about your pets or your favorite movies, right?
Exactly. But if you're at a social event or meeting someone at a party, then talking about your hobbies and interests is perfect.
Let me give another example. Imagine you're meeting your friend's parents for the first time. They ask, "tell me about yourself."
In that case, you'd probably talk about where you're from, what you study or do for work, and maybe how you know their son or daughter.
Right. You'd keep it friendly but polite. You wouldn't share anything too personal or controversial.
So the key lesson here is always think about who is asking and why they're asking before you answer.
That's such important advice. The context determines your answer. All right, let's talk about a simple structure that works in most situations. Jenny, what's your recommended approach?
I like to use what I call the 3 Ps structure: present, past, and plans. Ooh, I like that. It's easy to remember. Can you explain each part?
Sure. First is present. Start by talking about your current situation. Who are you right now? What are you doing now?
This could be your current job, your studies, where you live, or what you're working on.
Exactly. Second is past. Briefly mention relevant background information. How did you get to where you are now?
So maybe you talk about your education, previous jobs, or important experiences that shaped you.
Right. And third is plans. Finish by talking about your future goals or what you're interested in next.
This shows you're forward-thinking and have ambition.
Exactly. And here's why this structure works so well. It tells a story. It has a beginning, middle, and end.
People love stories. It's much more interesting than just listing random facts about yourself.
And it flows naturally. You're taking the listener on a journey from past to present to future.
How long should each part be?
Good question. In a typical answer, I'd say spend about 20% of your time on the past, 50% on the present, and 30% on the future.
So the present is the most important part.
Yes, because that's usually what the person is most interested in, who you are right now. Let's go through some concrete examples. Jenny, can you give us an example for a job interview situation?
Sure. Let's imagine I'm applying for a marketing position. Here's how I might answer. Well, I'm currently working as a marketing coordinator at a tech startup, where I manage our social media campaigns and email marketing. I really enjoy the creative aspects of the job and working with data to improve our results. I studied business administration at university, and during my studies, I discovered my passion for digital marketing. After graduating 2 years ago, I started in an entry-level position and gradually took on more responsibilities. Moving forward, I'm really excited about growing my skills in content strategy and analytics. That's actually one of the reasons I'm so interested in this position. I know your company is known for innovative marketing approaches, and I'd love to be part of that.
That's excellent. Can you break down why this answer works?
Sure. In the present part, I explained my current role and what I enjoy about it. This shows I'm actively employed and passionate about my work.
Good. And the past section?
I briefly mentioned my education and how I got into marketing. I kept it short but relevant. I didn't go into unnecessary details.
And the future part connected directly to the job you're applying for.
Exactly. I showed I'm ambitious and explained why I'm interested in this specific position. I did my research about the company.
That's smart. You also kept it to about 45 seconds to 1 minute, which is perfect for an interview opening.
Now let's do an example for a social situation. Johnny, imagine you're at a party and someone asks, "Tell me about yourself."
Okay, here's how I might answer. Hey! Well, I'm Johnny. I moved to this city about a year ago for work. I'm a software developer at a small company downtown. It's been a fun transition. Originally, I'm from Seattle. I studied computer science there and worked for a couple of years before deciding I wanted a change of scenery. Outside of work, I'm really into hiking and photography. Actually, that's one of the reasons I moved here. The mountains nearby are incredible. I'm hoping to explore more of the area this summer and maybe join a hiking club. Do you have any recommendations?
Perfect. I love how you ended with a question. That's a great technique.
Thanks. I wanted to keep the conversation going, not just give a monologue.
Exactly. In social situations, your answer should open the door for more conversation. What else did you do well here?
Well, I kept it friendly and casual. The tone was more relaxed than in a job interview.
Right. You mentioned personal interests, hiking and photography, which you probably wouldn't talk about in an interview.
And I shared information that could give us something to talk about. If the person also likes hiking, we now have a connection.
That's the goal in social situations. Find common ground and build rapport.
I also kept it pretty brief, maybe 30 to 40 seconds. In a social setting, you don't want to dominate the conversation.
Exactly. Leave room for the other person to share about themselves, too.
Let's do one more example. Jenny, how about a professional networking event? That's kind of between a job interview and a social party, right?
Yes. It's professional but more casual than an interview. Here's how I might answer. Hi, I'm Jenny. I work in human resources at a manufacturing company. Right now, I'm focused on improving our employee training programs and creating a better onboarding experience for new hires. I've been in HR for about 5 years now. I actually started in a completely different field. I was a teacher. But I realized I loved the organizational and people development side of things, so I made the switch. I'm currently looking to connect with other HR professionals who are working on similar challenges, especially around remote work and employee engagement. What brings you to this event?
Great answer. You kept it professional but friendly.
Thanks. At networking events, the key is to be clear about who you are professionally and what you're looking for.
You mentioned what you're interested in connecting about: employee training and engagement. That helps people know if they can help you or if you can help them.
Exactly. Networking is about building mutually beneficial relationships.
And again, you ended with a question to keep the conversation flowing.
Yes, at networking events, you want to have a conversation, not just a speech. Make it interactive.
All right, now let's talk about what not to do. Jenny, what are some common mistakes people make when answering "Tell me about yourself"?
Oh, there are several. First big mistake, being too vague or general.
What do you mean by that?
Some people say things like, I'm a nice person who likes to learn new things. That doesn't really tell me anything specific about you.
Right, it's too generic. Everyone could say the same thing.
Instead, give specific examples and details. Don't say, I like reading. Say, I love reading mystery novels, especially authors like Agatha Christie.
Good point. What's another common mistake?
Second mistake, sharing too much personal information, especially in professional settings.
Can you give an example?
Sure. In a job interview, don't talk about your relationship problems, health issues, or controversial political views. Keep it professional.
That should be obvious, but I guess some people overshare.
Unfortunately, yes. When nervous, some people talk too much and share inappropriate things.
What's the third mistake?
Reciting your resume word for word. This is especially common in job interviews. Oh, I've seen this. Someone says, I graduated from X university in 2018, then worked at Company A from 2018 to 2020, then moved to Company B from 2020 to 2022.
Exactly. That's so boring. The interviewer already has your resume. They want to understand your story, your motivations, what makes you unique.
So instead of listing dates and job titles, explain your journey and what you learned. Precisely. Fourth mistake, talking for too long.
How long is too long?
In most situations, your answer should be between 30 seconds and 2 minutes. Definitely no longer than 2 minutes.
What if someone wants to know more?
They'll ask follow-up questions. It's better to say a bit less and have them ask for more than to talk too long and lose their interest. Fifth mistake, being too modest or too arrogant.
That's a balance issue, right?
Yes. Some people, especially from cultures that value humility, say things like, I'm not very good at anything special. That undersells yourself.
But the opposite is also bad. Saying, I'm the best at everything I do sounds arrogant.
Exactly. Find the middle ground. Be confident, but humble. Share your accomplishments without bragging.
Last mistake?
Not preparing at all. Some people think they can just wing it, but then they ramble and sound unprofessional.
So you recommend practicing your answer?
Absolutely. Practice your answer out loud several times. You don't need to memorize it word for word, but know your key points.
We've covered the structure and mistakes to avoid. Now let's talk about how to make your answer really stand out. Jenny, what makes an answer memorable?
Great question. First tip, include a specific story or example.
Can you explain why stories are so powerful?
People remember stories much better than facts. If you say, I'm passionate about teaching, that's nice but forgettable. But if you say, I discovered my passion for teaching when I volunteered at a community center and helped a student finally understand math. Seeing her face light up changed my life. That's memorable. That's so much more interesting.
Second tip, show your personality. Don't be a robot. Let your enthusiasm and unique qualities shine through.
How do you do that?
Use descriptive words that show emotion. Instead of, I work in marketing, say, I love the creative challenge of marketing. Instead of, I studied engineering, say, I was fascinated by how things work, so engineering was a natural choice for me. So add your feelings and reactions, not just facts.
Exactly. Third tip, mention something unexpected or unique about yourself. Like what?
Maybe you have an unusual hobby, traveled to an interesting place, or made an unconventional career change. These details make you memorable.
But make sure it's relevant to the situation, right?
Yes, in a job interview, if you mention an unusual hobby, connect it to skills that are relevant for the job.
For example,
You could say, in my free time, I'm really into rock climbing. It's taught me a lot about problem solving and staying calm under pressure, which I apply in my project management work.
Ah, so you're showing how your hobby develops professional skills.
Exactly. Fourth tip, use confident body language and tone.
This is especially important in person or on video calls.
Right. Make eye contact, smile, speak clearly, and don't rush through your answer. Your nonverbal communication is just as important as your words.
Definitely. Even if your English isn't perfect, speaking with confidence makes a big impression.
We've mentioned the context matters several times. Let's talk more specifically about how to adapt your answer. Jenny, what changes between different situations?
The main things that change are the formality level, the length, the content focus, and the tone.
Let's break those down. First, formality level.
In a job interview, use professional language. Say, I'm currently employed as, rather than I work at. Use complete sentences.
But at a party?
You can be more casual. Hey, I'm Jennie, I work in HR, is perfectly fine. You might even use contractions more and speak more naturally.
What about length?
Generally, more formal situations allow for longer answers. A job interview might be 1 to 2 minutes. A networking event might be 45 seconds. A casual introduction might be 20 to 30 seconds.
And content focus?
In professional settings, focus 80 to 90% on professional information. Your work, skills, education, career goals.
And in social settings?
You can split it more evenly. Maybe 50% about what you do for work, 50% about your personal interests, hobbies, or background.
What about tone?
Professional settings require a more serious, competent tone. Show that you're reliable and skilled.
And casual settings?
Be warm, friendly, and approachable. Show your personality. It's okay to be funny or lighthearted.
Can you give us a quick side-by-side comparison of the same person in two different contexts?
Sure. Let's say Maria is a graphic designer. In a job interview, she might say, I'm a graphic designer with 4 years of experience, currently working at a digital agency where I lead branding projects for tech clients. I have strong skills in Adobe Creative Suite and user experience design. I'm passionate about creating visual identities that tell compelling stories and connect with audiences.
Professional and focused. Now, in a social setting?
At a party, Maria might say, Hey, I'm Maria. I'm a graphic designer. Basically, I make things look pretty for tech companies. Outside of work, I'm really into ceramics. I take pottery classes on weekends. I'm also kind of obsessed with trying every brunch place in the city. What about you?
Much more casual and personal.
Exactly. Same person, but the answer is completely different based on the SI. All right, let's make this practical. We're going to give our listeners some exercises to practice at home. Great idea. First exercise. Write out 3 different versions of your tell me about yourself answer. Write one for a job interview, one for a networking event, and one for a social situation. Compare them and notice what changes between each version. This helps you understand how to adapt.
Second exercise. Record yourself.
Use your phone to record yourself giving your answer. Then listen to it. How do you sound? Are you speaking clearly? Too fast? Too slow?
This can be uncomfortable, but it's so helpful. You'll notice things you didn't realize you were doing.
Third exercise. Practice with a friend.
Ask a friend to pretend they're interviewing you or meeting you for the first time. Practice your answer, then ask for honest feedback.
This is especially helpful if your friend can ask follow-up questions. You need to practice the whole conversation, not just your prepared answer.
Fourth exercise. Time yourself.
Set a timer for 1 minute and practice giving your answer within that time. This helps you stay concise.
Then try 30 seconds. Can you give a shorter version that still sounds complete?
Being able to adjust your answer length based on the situation is a valuable skill.
Fifth exercise. Watch examples online.
Search for Tell Me About Yourself examples on YouTube. Watch how different people answer this question.
Pay attention to what makes some answers better than others. What keeps you engaged? What sounds boring?
Learning from both good and bad examples is really helpful.
Jenny, let's talk specifically about challenges for non-native English speakers. What extra things should they consider?
Good question. First, it's okay to mention that you're still learning English, especially in social situations.
Really? Won't that make you seem less confident?
Not if you frame it positively. You could say, I'm originally from Brazil, and I've been working on improving my English since moving here 2 years ago. I hope you'll be patient with me if I make mistakes.
That's actually quite charming and shows self-awareness.
Exactly. Most people will appreciate your honesty and effort. Second point, prepare some key phrases in advance.
What kind of phrases?
Phrases like, I specialize in, comma, I'm passionate about, comma, my background is in, comma, what excites me most is. Having these ready helps you sound more fluent, so you're not translating word by word from your native language.
Exactly. Use English expressions that native speakers use. Third tip, don't apologize for your English unless it's truly necessary.
What do you mean?
Some people start by saying, sorry, my English is not very good. This immediately makes people focus on your language skills rather than your message.
So, just speak confidently and people will understand?
Yes. Most people care about your ideas and who you are, not about perfect grammar. Only apologize if there's a genuine communication problem.
Fourth tip, practice pronunciation of keywords in your answer.
Like your job title, company name, or university?
Exactly. If you can pronounce these clearly and confidently, your whole answer sounds better.
And finally,
Speak more slowly than you think you need to. Non-native speakers often rush when nervous, which makes pronunciation worse and understanding harder.
slow down, enunciate clearly, and breathe.
Perfect advice.
Wow, we've covered so much today. Let's quickly recap the main points.
Great idea. So, when someone asks, tell me about yourself.
First, consider the context. Who's asking and why?
Second, use the 3 Ps structure: present, past, and plans.
Third, keep it concise. Usually 30 seconds to 2 minutes depending on the situation.
Fourth, avoid common mistakes like being too vague, sharing too much personal information, or reciting your resume.
Fifth, make it memorable with specific stories, your personality, and unique details. Sixth, adapt your answer based on whether it's a job interview, networking event, or social situation.
And finally, practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the more natural and confident you'll sound.
Remember, there's no single perfect answer to this question. The best answer is one that's authentic to you and appropriate for the situation.
Don't try to be someone you're not. Just present yourself clearly and confidently. And for our non-native English speaker listeners, your unique background and perspective are valuable. Don't be afraid to mention where you're from and how that shapes who you are.
Your international experience is often an asset, not a weakness.
Absolutely. Well, that's all for today's episode. We hope this gives you the confidence and tools to answer, tell me about yourself, in any situation.
If you found this helpful, please share it with your friends who are learning English or preparing for interviews.
And leave us a comment. Tell us, which situation do you find most challenging? Job interviews, networking, or social situations?
We'd love to hear from you. Your feedback helps us create better content for you.
Thanks so much for listening. Remember, you have an interesting story to tell.
Practice telling it, and people will want to listen.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.